Banditry continue to ravage most communities in northern Nigeria, despite the effort of security agencies to restore normalcy in these troubled areas. The criminal element operating as terrorists and bandits are now becoming emboldened by the day, with gory stories emanating from these communities. Farmers in many communities in the northwest region are now being forced to pay a levy and carry out certain tasks for terrorists just to have access to their farmland. This road takes you to the Eastern Senatorial District of Sokoto State, where the impact of banditry is on the rise. The story of banditry in Nigeria resides in the northwest geopolitical region of the country, with Zamfara State being the worst hit. Most communities in the 14 local government area of Zamfara State are affected by activities of bandits. In Sokoto State, for instance, the Eastern Senatorial District is affected by activities of bandits, with most communities in Isa, Sabon Birni and Gwaranyo being the most affected. This road takes you to Gwaranyo, Isa and Sabon Birni, but here is the safest place I can stand to give you the story of the activities of bandits in this local government. Also to my right, you go to Wurno. To my left here is Raba, where bandits have also affected majority of the agrarian communities in this local government. The proximity of these local government areas of Isa, Sabon Birni, Gwaranyo, Raba in the Eastern Senatorial District of Sokoto State to communities in Zamfara State is fueling terror activities in the area as terrorists hibernate between these communities to perpetrate evil unabated. The story of these communities in Sokoto is similar to that of Zamfara, where most farming communities in the 14 local government areas of the state are under siege.
Our businesses have collapsed down. We are not going to our farms because they denied us every right to farming. You cannot go farm without being kidnapped.
We met with the chief of army staff, chief of defense staff. We narrate to them, and I come back to Sokoto. I met with the GOC, director SSS, and of course the commissioner of police, and we all narrate to them the situation, and I believe they are in tune of the reality of what is happening there.
These victims of banditry in Sokoto State also narrate their ordeal. The situation is not as worse as it used to be in the past. You can see some of us have been able to farm here. But then, there are other communities who have faced security challenges. I'm originally from Raba, but because of bandit activities, I cannot live in my village.
Are here in Raba taking refuge, and now they have kidnapped 4 of our children. They are demanding 500,000 naira before they will release them. That we have been taking refuge in this community. We don't have a permanent camp, and to eat is a problem because
Sokoto State government has been making effort in supporting security agencies to restore normalcy in the affected communities. The government has ordered 66 Toyota Hilux to support security agencies as operational vehicles to fight banditry in all the affected areas.
Secondly, 22 number 2023 model Toyota Hilux Buffalo to be also awarded to Messer Lasafa Ltd.
The situation is the same in Kebbi State, where most communities in the Southern Senatorial District have been harassed by terrorists and bandits. In 2022, over 63 person members of the local vigilante group were killed by terrorists in villages around Zulu, Sakaba area, as communities around that axis, including Bena, Danko-Wasagu, Fakai, that share boundaries with Zamfara State, have been under consistent attacks. But authority in the state says recent deployment of additional security personnel who work with local communities is changing the narrative.
Government is determined to ensure that this menace of insecurity is not only stopped, it's not only reduced, but completely stopped.
In Zamfara, the activities of banditry that started with cattle rustling in 2011 has grown to a full-blown terrorism with hundreds of civilians killed. Thousands of residents have been displaced and many communities are now deserted. The Chief of Army Staff recently raised the alarm that the bandits are now operating more like terrorists in their tactics in the northwest region. As the situation worsens, some stakeholders in Zamfara State are calling for negotiation with the terrorists. But the new government in Zamfara State is not willing to travel this route, which did not yield any positive result in the past.
The government under the able leadership of Dr. Dawda Lawal Dari has no plan whatsoever to reconcile and or have any discussion with any bandit, any criminal, any protective. Ours is to pursue them wherever they are
dealt with. That's why they are calling for negotiation. And that's why they said they want to come out and talk with us. But we are saying talking is not the solution. If they want to surrender, they should come out outrightly and surrender.
The fact that in the previous administration, Zamfara State, Sokoto State, and by extension Katsina State, they all engage in the dialogue and, of course, negotiation with the bandit. But the fundamental question to ask ourselves is, what does that result in? Is there any positive outcome? The answer is no.
Though the military and other security agencies combating these crimes have consistently maintained that they are winning the battle, residents of these troubled communities are still counting their losses under the draconian rules of the bandit who have restricted them from cultivating their farms, a situation that may further worsen food insecurity in the country. Suleiman Nasser, Arise News.